Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Dear student, today we will discuss about thesis format of BS, MS and PhD student of LCWU. Actually, all the theses presented in TypeScript for the degree of BS, MS and PhD should compile with the following specification that we are going to discuss one by one. The first thing in thesis format is the size of paper, and the size of paper should be A4, but there is no restriction in case of drawing and maps. Paper specification for hard binding for good quality paper, it should be 80 gram. And many students ask how many copies we have to submit at the time of submission after approval of thesis. Then generally four copies are binding. The first copy for supervisor, the second copy for HOD, the third copy for library, and the fourth copy for student. But there are few exceptions. If you are enrolled in affiliated college, one copy will be go for affiliated college. And if you have co-supervisor, one copy will be go for co-supervisor. And in case of PhD, three copies will be go for external examiner. Then the layout of script should be on one side of the paper. It should never be in double column of the paper. And lines should be double spaced. Footnote, quotation, photographic captions should be 1.5 spaced and photograph spacing should be 6 pt. References should be double spaced and in text, references should be in order of alphabets or in order of year. For example, if you have two references in text, the first reference is for the year of 2016 and the second reference for the 2020, then uh, it's your choice if you are writing 2016 first and 2020 first, but always keep in mind if you will follow either the year or either the alphabets. Then separator should be added before each chapter. It means if you have started writing the thesis, first on the first page you will write introduction chapter 1, then leave that page and start introduction on the next page. Again, when you have completed the introduction, then on next page you will write chapter number 2 literature review, leave that page and start literature review on the next page. Font size for title page, it should be 12 to 22, but most probably we use 22 size. For heading and subheading, it should be 12 to 20. For text, we commonly use 12 font size. And for footnotes, it should be 8 to 12. And for references, it should be 12 or 16, but most commonly, uh, 12 font size is used. Type style, our theme should be Times New Roman. Margin should be added in your manuscript, and for left and right the margin should be 1.5 inches. For top to bottom it should be 1 inches, and for outer edge it should be 0.75 inches. Best position for page number should be added in your thesis, and the best position for page number is the top of right corner of your thesis. Page number should be given after 5 spaces of header, and page containing figure and illustration should also be paginated. Gutter should be applied and gutter size should be 0.5 inches and it should be present on left position. There are following rules if you are using number in your thesis. The first rule is number 10 or above are expressed as numerals, and below 10 it should be written as word. The rule for when you write a number as a word or as a numeral are probably the hardest to learn because there are many exceptions to this rule. It is wise to always refer back to APA publication manual. There are exceptions to general rule. Measurement should be numeral if you are using in your thesis. Statistical analysis should also be in numeral, and group of numbers, for example, you are using group number 1, 2, 3, it should always be in numerals. And if you are using figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, and table 1, table 2, table 3, and trial 1, 2, 3, it should always be in numeral rather than ONE1 and TWO2. If sentence begin with number, it is always a word, then it will never be a numeral. It should always be a word. And try to avoid a sentence starting with the number, rather than it should be always with a sentence. Following is the preferable layout of the thesis. The first page should be title, then certification, then dedication, then acknowledgement. After all these, write list of table, list of figure, then list of abbreviations, then abstract. After that, your chapter number 1, introduction, chapter number 2, review of literature, chapter number 3 will be materials and methods, chapter number 4, results, chapter number 5 will be discussion and conclusion, and the last chapter will be references. And always keep in mind the references should be APA style. Then plagiarism report is required for BS and MS and PhD student, and plagiarism report should be attached at the end of the thesis. Length of the thesis for BS student, it should be for 60 pages. For MS student, it should be for 80 pages, and for PhD, it should be at least for 150 pages. And the last is binding and color copy. All final thesis and published work presented for higher degree must be bind in a permanent form. Then color copy should be dark green with golden printed. And after hard copy, submit to respective department and to respective supervisor. Hope you this video will be helpful for you. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Take care. Allah Hafiz.